There's a lot of people that are trying to sell drop
Yes.
shipping guru, forex trading guru. If those people actually made money doing those things, they wouldn't sell a course on it.
Hey everyone, welcome back to season 2 of the Outliers podcast. I'm Arya, one of your hosts, and this is part 3, Zach's final episode. Now, in my opinion, this is the most valuable episode of the 3 that we filmed because it answers the following questions. Are content marketing courses like Hubspot Academy actually helpful? What do you do if you think you have a good business idea but you have no funding to pursue it? How did Zach start Arise Applications, an iOS app development company, even though he doesn't really know how to code? What soft skills does Zach use the most when he works with a team and are practically essential to every entrepreneur? And finally, what is the best advice he would give to his younger self? As always, the timestamps are in the description, and that's pretty much it. Hope you guys enjoy this episode and happy Mother's Day. There are these courses like HubSpot Academy, and they teach you like social media marketing, SEO sort of thing. Are these courses still useful?
Well, I've never taken any courses ever. My first thought would be no, but it all kind of depends on what you want to get out of it. Because like the thing with these courses, like if they're teaching you like SEO, for example, it depends what you're going to translate that into, right? Like if you're just going to learn SEO and then try to like find somebody to pay you to do SEO for them one time, I mean, unless that's really the business that you want to start, I don't think it's like super useful. But if you have a business and like you're selling something online or whatever the kind of business is, and you're like, I really need to ramp up my SEO, then yeah, I think that it is a good like tool. I don't think it's really useful to just take a bunch of courses just to a bunch of stuff. I think it's better to be like, I have a problem. What's the problem?
What advice do you have for teens that have, brilliant ideas, but they have no funding to pursue it?
I mean, it's a tough question. It really depends on the brilliant idea. I personally think like for your first business or your first few businesses, like I don't think you should be trying to build like the next Facebook or something. Like I think a perfect first business is something that's going to be profitable very soon, like some sort of service-based business or selling something online where it's going to make money. I think a lot of people, they see, oh my God, Mark Zuckerberg made Facebook and blah, 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 blah. And now he's worth, $100 billion or something. They get caught up on that type of entrepreneur. Like that, to me, I don't think is the best use of your time because it's just not very likely that you're going to take off like that. And especially if you don't have access to funding, unless you're a genius coder and marketer and just know everything about everything. My main point is I think that you shouldn't really need a lot of funding for like a first kind of project. Or if you do have some sort of genius idea, try to build something first that's profitable, that makes you money. I don't think it's the best idea to try to start a business that like just isn't going to be profitable for like 5 or 10 years. If your company really needs funding, you have to think like, what do I need the funding for? You might need to hire a team of software engineers to build this product, and that's going to cost you a few $100,000 a year. And then is your business really going to make a few $100,000 a year? So my point is to just like focus on something that's going to be profitable like right off the bat or shortly from it, where it doesn't require a lot of initial investment. Because I think companies that require a lot of investment are just really like difficult to actually like take off. If you have to go and raise $50,000 or $100,000 for a business, then you have shareholders that you have to answer to and people breathing down your neck.
Zach, did you have prior experience in computer programming and like developing apps and stuff before you started Arise Applications?
No. So my kind of like always been, I'm not the best person for every job. And I think that's like a really, really important thing to kind of understand as an entrepreneur is like, I don't know how to code. So instead of going out and learning how to code and spending 3-4 years learning how to code, I would just hire somebody that knew how to code and they would do it. Like, I don't think you need to learn how to code to manage a software development company. Obviously it helps a lot, and I do have basic understanding of it. But in my position, I didn't need to know how to code because I could hire people to do the job for me. Kind of similar to what I was saying before, like where I hired somebody to deal with the clients because I just wasn't the best person to deal with the clients because I really didn't like it. It stressed me out, and then it freed my time up to do more important work or work that I'm better suited for.
Right, and so this kind of leads to my next question, which is the skills that you have to demonstrate. So whoever's coding the app, their hard skill would have to be like coding, obviously. So skills demonstrated by you as an entrepreneur, what are the skills that you think most entrepreneurs have to have when dealing with a team, and the importance of they initially have to have an idea first and then they have to have all these skills after?
Yeah. I would say, like, for all businesses, like, communication is, like, really, really, really important. Like, if somebody texts you, you have to respond, like, quickly. And you have to be reliable. If you tell somebody, like, whether it's an employee or a client, like, that you're going to do something, like, you have to do it. It's just, like, basic things. But I found that not everybody has those, skills that I think are just very basic. So yeah, my main things would be communication and reliability. Like they go a really, really, really long way.
Strongly agree. I learned that the hard way. What happens if you don't have supportive parents?
Well, my parents, they never supported me monetarily. I never really needed it, but I was really lucky. Like my parents have always been like super supportive. Like I know a lot of people that are my age that are still kind of at the will of what their parents tell them to do. And I think that that's wrong. Like I don't think parents should be that involved in their children's path.
So now we're on to our last section. So one of our things is if you could give any advice to your younger self, what would you say to them?
That's a tough question. I think like one thing I would say is like take more advice from people. Like I think it's good to like get second opinions on things. I think that's really, really important. And like another big thing is I would say is like don't spend a lot of money because I made a lot of money in my life, but I've also spent a lot of money in my life. And when everything's going good, it's like, oh man, like whatever, like I'll spend this, I'll do that, whatever. But not everything is forever. When I was making a lot of money, it would have been good to have somebody to kind of guide me in that sense because I would make a lot of money and then I would just go out and spend it. So yeah, that's one thing that I would probably tell myself. One thing that I would add, because you guys were talking about like courses and stuff, there's a lot of people online these days that are trying to sell impressionable people kind of like get rich quick, drop shipping guru, forex trading guru. That is all fake. Don't ever do anything like that. If those people actually made money doing those things, they wouldn't sell a course on it. It's not in their best interest ever. Like the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen, and so many people fall for it. Like, and the people that sell these courses make insane amounts of money from selling the courses. Like it's really bad. And I know people that have like fallen for it and they've bought in a forex trading course and then they lost money trading forex because I mean of course they're trading forex. What do you expect? So like just think about it. If somebody is selling you a course on something that they're supposedly so good at it, why would they be selling the course? And another thing to think about is like if you want to start a business, like you should be like selective with the sort of business that you start. Like I was around when people like were kind of just starting drop shipping, and now everybody and their mom has a Shopify store, right? So I think it's really important to kind of like pry your eyes away from the stuff that everybody's doing, because if everybody's doing it, it's not going to be the most profitable endeavor. So I think it's important to like look other places than just what you see on social media of some guy in a Lambo trying to sell you on drop shipping or forex trading or Amazon Facebook ads or whatever. Like it's so much better to like think of your own idea. The profits are going to be really, really small. Like I know people that make a killing drop shipping. They make so much money. But these people have been doing it for 10 years and they know what they're doing. they've got millions of dollars in their bank account to spend on testing things. They've got 20 employees. Like they know what they're doing. You would, like, just setting up a Shopify store, it's not gonna be successful. You need to have some sort of special angle.
For sure.
I have a few more things, if that's cool with you, Zach.
Go for it.
So, yeah, because this is for me personally, because my dad was an entrepreneur, but he was an entrepreneur like 50 years, like 40 years ago, right? So things have changed, but I do really want to get into it. If you don't have a place like these courses, for example, people get sucked into them. Where should you learn? Where's the first place you would learn?
I mean, it's a good question. I mean, the way I kind of like learned everything that I know is just by like talking to people that were in the business. Like, obviously the kind of industry that I got into and the time that I got into it was like a very good time to get into it. And it was really easy to talk to these people because they were all my age and they were all young, and now they're, you know, much older and they don't want anybody, like, now they realize the business is so good, so they're not going to tell you all their secrets anymore. But I mean, I think there's just so much opportunity on the internet, like in so many random niches. Like I know people that make money by they have an app that just goes and buys like the latest like Supreme clothing drop for their clients. Like, there's so many random little industries, like, and these tiny little like micro economies that are so just like they're ripe to be like taken over by somebody that like has a business mindset, right? Like my friend with the like buying Supreme stuff, right? It used to be like, oh, I'll buy it for you and then I'll sell it to you at an upmark, blah blah blah. But now there's bots that are doing it, and they have teams of coders and stuff like that. So there's just so much opportunity, because like they're not going to be overtaken by big companies or people like that, but then they also have a lot of opportunity for profit in there as well.
How do you come up with ideas? And it kind of goes back to what you just said, which was just looking for things online. Like, do you mean doing research?
So I mean, the way I came up with like Slogan Social is I didn't come up with it. I kind of like found an idea. Like, there was already people that were managing other people's Twitter accounts. Like, I wasn't the first person to do that, but I was the first person to hire a team of like a dozen people to just run these people's Twitter accounts all day long and just take over the entire market. And then for like Arise applications, again, I wasn't the first person to like advertise apps on these meme pages, but I realized, hey, this guy's been paying me a ridiculous amount of money for the past year to advertise his app. He must be making a ton of money. I could make an app. Why don't I do that? So it's kind of just like finding what are you good at, and then finding like an idea that's already there, and then just kind of like expanding on it if you can.
My last question is really simple. It's just, is a smaller niche better?
It depends on like what kind of business you're starting, right? Like, if you're selling security software to governments, then yeah, it's a small niche, but your contracts are going to be like $20 billion, so it doesn't matter, right? But like, it really just depends. It depends on the industry. Like, the way I think about like starting businesses now is like, I'm very, like, I don't just like start the first business idea that I think of, because I think of like tons of like silly little business ideas that are probably not very viable all the time. But like, I think like, what's something that's scalable, what's something that's like that you can automate, and what's something that's like going to be relatively profitable quickly. That's like what I think of when I try to like if I think of an idea, I run through that, and then if it all checks out, then maybe I'll try to start it.
Yeah, that's perfect. Thank you for answering all my extra questions.
Cool, no problem.
Thanks for listening, everyone. I hope you guys learned something in today's episode, because that is the ultimate purpose of this podcast. If you guys have 1 minute, we'd appreciate it so much if you logged onto your Instagram or messaged me individually and tell us what we can do to improve this podcast, because it helps a lot whether you guys know it or not. You can find my account at Aria Tabitha on Instagram, or you can message us at Outliers Career Podcast. Anyway, that's enough talking for me. I hope to see you guys in the next episode.